Hundreds of students every year pick up the ToKToday Essay Guidance Notes. Therefore, it's crucial that I check whether the notes contain good advice. And that's what we're going to do today. Welcome to ToKToday. My name's Daniel and I enjoy writing and vlogging about TOK. ToKToday produces essay guidance notes for every TOK essay in each May and November exam session. They're not a model essay, they're just suggestions of the sorts of knowledge claims, examples and evaluation points that you could include in the essay. Hundreds of students use them every year, so I need to check whether the notes align with what the examiners are looking for in the TOK essay. After all, I want my customers to be getting advice that can help them to get a top grade in TOK. So in the next section of this video, I'll explain how I check the accuracy of the ToKToday notes, and then I'll show you how accurate or inaccurate the May 2024 guidance notes were. I write the TOK essay guidance notes as soon as the essay titles are published, and it usually takes about a month to write the notes for all 6 essays. Therefore, I published them in October for the May session and in April for the November session exams. So at the point that I published them, we don't have any information from IB about the TOK essay questions other than the questions themselves. However, just before the TOK examiners start marking the essays, IB gives them a document called Examiner Preparation Notes. Now, these are the notes that are written by the chief examiner for all the other examiners, and they describe what those examiners should be looking for and should be crediting when they're marking the students' TOK essays. So these notes have the chief examiner's interpretation of legitimate answers to the TOK essay. In other words, these examiner preparation notes are the chief examiner's view of how to answer the TOK essays. So they're gold, yeah? So these examiner preparation notes are what I'm trying to anticipate when I write my essay guidance notes, which are written months before the examiner preparation notes come out. I'm trying to predict what will be in the examiner preparation notes, and then I'm trying to explain that in a student-friendly way in my notes. Now, obviously, the examiner preparation notes are confidential to examiners after they've been published until way after the results have been published, months after the results have been published. However, about a year after the exam session, the IB published the examiner preparation notes for that session. And this allows me to go back and check the accuracy of my guidance notes in order to improve my notes for subsequent exam sessions. So let's move on to the final part of today's video, and that's how accurate are the ToKToday essay guidance notes. So here on the left, we have the ToKToday TOK Essay Student Guidance Notes for the May 24 exam session, published in October 2023. And here on the right, we have the IB Examiner Preparation Notes for the May 24 exam session, published to examiners in April 2024 and published to me, any TOK teacher, in December 2024. So the task is to compare what I advised students in my notes in October 23 with what IB advised its examiners in April 2024. The closer the match, the better for all concerned. First of all, I do a textual comparison. I read through both sets of notes and I manually identify the similarities and the differences. And then I give the 2 documents to ChatGPT and ask it to do the same. I also ask ChatGPT to come up with a similarity rating. So I'll just show you a couple of examples in detail here. Let's start by looking at prescribed title 1 from May 24. Is subjectivity overly celebrated in the arts but unfairly condemned in history? Now, the notes for examiners makes the following main points. Students will explore the concept of subjectivity. In the arts, they could do this from the perspective of an artist or a viewer, and in history, they could think about the historian's context. Next, it suggested that students may consider why subjectivity is overly celebrated or unfairly condemned, and ask, by whom? The examiner notes then suggest that students may consider that subjectivity is rightly celebrated or fairly condemned in the arts and history, respectively. Essentially, it's exploring why students might disagree with the word overly and unfairly in the prescribed title. And then the examiner notes then explores ways in which students could agree with those words in the prescribed title and demonstrate that subjectivity is overly celebrated in the arts and unfairly condemned in history. And knowledge issues such as the objective elements of artistic knowledge and the inevitable subjectivities of historical knowledge are mentioned. The examiner preparation notes are obviously essential reading for TOK teachers after the session to help them to teach future sessions. Now, fortunately, there's nothing in the examiner notes that's not covered in my guidance notes, except the examiner notes might place different emphasis on particular things that I haven't emphasized in my guidance notes. And there are things in my guidance notes which are not emphasized in the examiner prep notes or are not even in the examiner prep notes. Those additional points in my guidance notes are not necessarily wrong and could have been credited by examiners. However, obviously I'm a biased evaluator. So I gave the notes over to ChatGPT and I gave it the following prompt. Well, I'm not going to read it out. You can see it on screen and you know, it's quite long, but there it is. You can pause the video if you want to use the same prompt. Now, ChatGPT gave a similarity score of 90% and said the following: the two documents show strong alignment as the primary ideas and overall structure are consistent. However, the examiner's notes still delve deeper into certain nuanced discussions, such as the role of subjectivity in methodology and the reflective interrogation of who is celebrating or condemning subjectivity. These points are less developed in the student guidance notes. And it also gave me guidance on some specific points that were included in the examiner notes but were omitted from the student notes. And these included the fair condemnation of subjectivity in history and specific pitfalls of subjectivity in history. So that really helped me when I started to write the ToKToday Essay Guidance Notes for the May 25 session, that particularly that piece of advice to focus on the subject, the who, in the prescribed titles. So let's move on to consider prescribed title number 5 from May 24. Do we need custodians of knowledge? Now, I won't go through the examiner preparation notes from this question. You can pick those up from the Programme Resource Centre, along with all of the other examination preparation notes for the past few years. Again, I gave ChatGPT the same prompt, which I won't read again, and it came up with a similarity score of 88%. Saying that the two documents show strong alignment in their core ideas. However, the examiner notes provide more comprehensive discussions on definitions, evaluation criteria, and the dynamic roles of custodians, resulting in some gaps in the student notes. And it also gave me some more details on some of the things missing from the student notes, such as the dynamic role of custodianship and evaluation of custodianship. So again, that was really useful advice when I started to write the May 25 session notes. Now, obviously, I'm very happy that my student notes are approximately 90% aligned with the examination and preparation notes, and it tells me that I'm giving good advice to my students. However, it's the process of doing this analysis that really helps me to improve the ToKToday student guidance notes. As I analyse each essay title session after session, I start to learn more about the general expectations of TOK examiners and more about the general interpretation of questions and concepts by the TOK chief examiner, and more about where my weaknesses are. And I'm using AI as a self-evaluation and personal development tool. I hope that gives students and educators alike more confidence in the ToKToday guidance notes. If you have advice, suggestions, or you can tell us how you use AI as a personal development tool, then please feel free to drop your thoughts in the video comment box. Many thanks for watching, and as usual, Stay ToKtastic, my friends.